How's everyone doing? I'm Dusty. Welcome to Bengals Army. It's been a minute since we've had a show. Took a little pause with it for a little bit, but we're gonna start pumping out some more stuff for everybody.
Pump it out. Oh, sorry, I'm doing too much already. I said pump it out.
Yeah,
No, I was like I'm doing too much.
I'm joined with Bengals&Brews host Dale. As you can hear him in the background, he's got his pretty sick new logo popped up there. How you doing, Dale?
I'm doing good, man. Just went a little long, so I'm sorry. I know we were going to start around 5. That's my bad. We have Parker Blake on the show. He's been down at the Senior Bowl, and I know you can at least understand because you're a draft guy like me. You love this stuff. You love talking about it, diving into these guys. And Parker was down there, and, he's sitting in his hotel room. There's no practice today. He's staying for the game tomorrow. He's a little under the weather. Still gave us 2 hours, man. Me and Parker could have talked all night long about draft prospects, but I knew I had to hurry up because I had to get off there to get on here with you, my guy. What's up? How you been?
I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. I haven't been super focused on things here with the podcast where normally I would want to be, but got some work and stuff I've been putting in, so I need to get a little more time. I got some time now. Should be able to pump some stuff out, but I still been looking up some players, doing some research, which I think this is favorite time of the year looking at some of these guys. Now, I'm not like Parker where I know a lot about the offensive line. I do like watching the trenches and watching defense, the D line, edge rushers, cornerbacks, and definitely wide on offense, wide receivers, running backs, in which the running backs get fun because you can find some guys in the later rounds like Chase Brown. When I watched him last year, I remember being super excited for him, and then we drafted him, and pretty much everything that I saw and was kind of validation, gave me a little validation what I saw and what he ended up doing. So I was happy with that. And then it just makes it more exciting for the next year and get it a little more addictive to try to look at these dudes and research them some and then see where they fall. But we got Matt on here. Matt says, "Who day?" What's up, Matt? We got Bengals.
Matt. Darth, man. Darth. I was telling you a little before the show about Darth. So if you don't care, do you mind if I mention the project?
Give Darth his flowers and talk about your guys' thing you got going on.
Well, I mean, it's Matt Bengals and Bourbon's idea, and what I love about being on here and being able to mention it is, we want to get military veterans and adults with special needs to some games this season, and hopefully future seasons. But right now the goal is this season, we're to have half the tickets donated via Matty Meyer, Jackpot Joey, just people that might not have the means or this, that, and the other. And we're trying to look into wheelchair accessible seats and stuff like that. Those are a little harder to look into, but that's what we're trying to do. We want, half of the games to be able to be that, whether it's a military veteran or adult with special needs if they need that. But Darth and his amazing chains that most people know is part of Project Game Day. And he is going to help raise money to, buy tickets or, the goal is if we go over on tickets, then we're buying these people a jersey when they come to the game or a hat or whatever we can,
Right.
So I love the idea. I'm glad that the show Bengals&Brews is part of it in a small way. I don't claim to be the face of it or anything like that. I'm just a small little piece of it, helping where we can, promoting it and hoping to do what we can to help. Darth is doing an amazing job. In exchange for donations, it's not really selling the change, but in exchange for a donation. And he's already backed up on orders because everyone knows how amazing his chains are. So, that's going to be huge. I appreciate Darth so much. I appreciate everybody that supports it. Any of us, man. That's all we do as fans, help others when you can. And this is the best fan base, in my opinion. There's not another one like it.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty awesome. I love how I've met a lot of people through the military. Where I grew up, there was hardly any Bengals fans. Honestly, I was one of two. And so having going into the military and stuff and meeting some other Bengals fans like Chris and Tony, some of these other guys. I mean, I've talked about 100 times, but it's so much fun when you get a group like that and you can talk to people and just relate through some of the tough times and some of these good times that we've experienced the last few years makes it even better. And then you meet, guys like you who became good friends, and Darth who's doing really cool things and pumping out them awesome chains. There's a lot of good people in this in this organization, in the fan base. So it makes it more of a community than it does a fan base. That's the way I like to look at it. Is it's a community.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, my best friends now are not like the friends I knew from school. And hey, I still love those guys. It's not nothing like that. But it's just, when you have this common interest of the Bengals, and then also with being able to help others in any small way, man, it's incredible. You meet like-minded people and they become your closest friends in life that I didn't even know these people till the past couple of years. So I feel extremely blessed as a person. And that's not the Miller Lite talking. That's just
It's awesome, man. It really is cool meeting some of these people and just doing a little bit of fundraisers, putting the fun in fundraiser, doing things that are meaningful and doing things that are helping people out. Especially, like Ted Karras, like going out and doing the stuff he does.
You getting the tat?
Dude, I don't know. I don't
have any like.
I got enough tats. I don't know exactly where I have some space for it that I'd want it, but yeah, no, it's cool though. Like it's cool seeing the fan base wrap around somebody like that and making a push, and the players feel that, and that's why we got a lot of guys that want to be here. And we're a northern team. We're not Miami. We're not in Florida, where taxes are a little different, where you got the beaches and it's a smaller town. So it's, some people are drawn away from that. They want that big town. They want that New York experience. They want to be up there in Boston and stuff like but we have this community that makes it special here in Cincinnati. And I think people know that and they like it. And just like Jamar Chase's dad kind of was like, yeah, like didn't really want Jamar to come to Cincinnati. I don't know if you remember him talking about that or not, but he wasn't really a fan of him coming to Cincinnati. From some, I don't know whose podcast it was. It might have been Dan Horde where he had him on there. I'm not sure. It was a while back. It was when might have been the year after. So 2021 when we went to the Super Bowl. It might have been around that time. I think it was him and Joe's parents were on there. So he kind of didn't quite like the idea of Cincinnati. I don't know if it was the cold weather, the small atmosphere, but now he's grown to love it. So I like that.
Yeah, man, we got a rabid fan base, and when we get our Super Bowl next year, it's going to be even crazier.
Yeah, for sure. Dustin Cross is excited for free agency to start in the draft. He wishes the draft was before free agency. I don't know.
It's tough because either way, you're filling needs and like. But I agree, like, the draft was like, okay, well, this player didn't fall, and we need a right tackle. You're going to be more aggressive on the market. Like, I think it would help the players too, and I wouldn't be shocked if that happens one day. Like, that it does switch, because I mean, there's only so much you can do. Like the Senior Bowl's this week, the Combine coming up, and then you got to wait almost like a month and a half before the draft happens. They could have the draft right away. But it's also like, okay, if you got your player in the draft, it can go both ways, right? If you get your player in the draft, then these guys on the free agent market, it's like, well, I'm going to believe in this guy. Your market's down. We've already drafted a guy here.
Yeah.
It's a players association thing,
Yeah. I would say, I think the money, it would be reduced a little bit, because if you draft this stud at left tackle or something, are you going to spend?
But then it goes up if you don't. So
yeah, and then it goes up if you don't get it. Yeah, so I think either way, I think it would be unique to have the draft that way, because then you can hit on some things that you need, but also you might be eyeing a free agent And no, okay, we didn't get this stud Penei Sewell at left tackle, so now we can address that in free agency. But I think if it was reversed ways, we'd probably say the same thing. Possibly, like I wish free agency was before the draft or vice versa. But I'm ready for it. I want the draft to be here. The free agency is weird. Like I never get my hopes up for it because
when it's fun though. Like that first couple days is so exciting, but the names fly off the board so quick. But man, when the Bengals are active, like it's so exciting. And Orlando Brown, we didn't see that. And there's still people like hate on Orlando Brown. And it's like, okay, what would you do if you didn't have Orlando? Because like, okay, well, your mock draft fills the need at right tackle. What about left tackle? I was like, what? One guy said, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Orlando Brown is here and he's solid. Solid is good for this team. Look at us in the Super Bowl. How close were we winning the Super Bowl? And we didn't have solid at most of those positions.
No. And even in the AFC Championship game, we lost in 3 weeks, 3 starters. To put that in perspective, that's 3/5 of your offensive line. So you lost whatever 3/5. What's that? 66% of your offensive line. That's not good. It's not actually. I don't think that's 66%. Doesn't matter. Math's hard right now. But it's still you had 2 starters, and those starters were starters that we complained about anyways. So I don't know, man. I like having an average offensive line. I think that would be if just average across the board. Cordell Volson, he made his second half of the season, started playing a little better. But I don't know how I feel about him. Like I like the dude. I love what he's about. But if we could get one of these top tier centers and move Teddy over to left guard, I would be down for that.
Yeah, I mean it's a fair point. The only thing I'll say with Volson, because I think people know, like I've questioned him, and if he's not performing, I'm going to question. It's what it's just how I am.
Yeah.
And I didn't know a lot about him. I did, like he was an older prospect coming out, so I expected he better be ready to go then. I didn't love that draft pick, but I think he's exceeded those expectations a little bit, and I only say that based on the back end of this past season. Finally, when we saw a more balanced offense. And my question is, are we going to see it again when Joe Burrow's back? If you have a little bit more balanced offense where the run game, and it's not just the run game, it's just, and I hate screen passes, we do too many, but you have to have it. If you're good at it and you can make it work, it's easy, and it's easy for your quarterback, but it helps your line. If you're not dropping back passing every down, it's easier on your entire offensive line. And I think Volson finally looked better when that happened. I just hope we continue that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we will. That's the thing. If we know we're going to drop back and pass 40 times a game, Volson ain't the guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think the big thing is, I don't know. I mean, we're not in the room, right? So we don't know exactly what Joe's saying. We all know Joe's the guy. And what was that football movie, The Replacements? And the head coach told the quarterback that winners want the ball in their hands, right?
Keanu Reeves. He told Keanu Reeves from the Ohio State. I can't remember the name of the character. But.
Exactly. You want the ball in your hands. So Joe, he could be audibling out more than he should, or he could be just, nope, this is what I want, and they're trying to stick to it. But at a certain point, the sacks, the extension of plays, they start building up. So I would like to see a much more balanced offense. And I think it's going to make Joe even better. If you have that balanced run attack and he's so accurate, when you have the run, you're getting 5 yards a carry would be great. But if we can average 4 yards a carry, 4 to 5, and then go and pass the ball some, it's going to make Joe better. So I'm totally on board with that. My thing is, I think this offseason is going to be big, man, with Tyler Boyd. I'm going to say, I know he's a fan favorite.
You mean Pittsburgh Steelers, Tyler Boyd?
Yeah, like
Is that going to make you sick if that happens?
I've like Tyler Boyd's weird for me. He's not a guy. I think he's made some great plays for us, and he's been reliable for us. And then
He
there's
was a great pick where we got him because I wanted a few guys in that first round. Like I love to admit my misses. When we didn't get a guy in the first round, I was pissed. Like it was Dotson that Washington got, and I really liked him, and he sucked. So but I like Boyd. I like Michael Thomas was my guy, and he worked out pretty good for a while. But
yeah.
Sorry, I'm a little buzzed, man. I'm not gonna fucking lie.
Yeah, I feel like Charlie Jones, his ceiling is Tyler Boyd. Do you think he has a bigger ceiling than Tyler Boyd?
God, I'd be surprised if he ever reaches that ceiling.
Yeah. So
he was already like 25 years old coming out, 6-year college player, just dealt with injuries and he dealt with them again. I don't know. Like, I just want whatever I can get from him as a piece and a returner. I definitely don't think he's Tyler Boyd. He's not the replacement. I'll say that. I'll confidently say I don't think he's a replacement. Prove me wrong. I'd love to be proved wrong.
Yeah, I think I think he'll be maybe a little tier below Tyler Boyd, but I think he's above what Trenton Irwin is. Now I like T.I., so I don't want to T.I.'s just been reliable. Every chance he's had, every game that he's really stepped in, he's made some sort of contribution to the team. So I think that's about where he sits at. Is as a
T.I. can play a little more outside, to whereas Charlie Jones, I think, is more strictly of a slot type of guy, like Boyd mostly is.
Right. Yeah, I think that I put a thing on Twitter the other day about Andre Yosevos being the possible wide receiver 3 replacement. I think if we lose TB and next year we lose T, I just don't think Andre is that. I don't think he's at that caliber. I think he's more of a wide receiver 4.
I think he's Trenton. Yeah, he's Trenton Irwin. Yeah. You could rely on him for that role, but I don't. And if he exceeds it, great. But once again, I'm not in the business or hurting feelings this offseason if I'm the Bengals. For me, I know this is pivoting from the wide receivers, but I was talking about the safeties. Is Dax Hill a better slot corner? Is he the future Mike Hilton?
Yeah.
Maybe. Mike Hilton's got one more year on his deal. Maybe that's Dax's best role.
Even the
Bengals coaches will say that. And that's what he played at Michigan. So it's slot corner. So it's like he's a good blitzer. He does a lot of the things. Like I remember when he came out, I talked about him compared to Mike Hilton. But if he's not your safety, like if he just can't do it, then I'm not trying to just put him out there because I expect him to take a step. Kind of like putting him out there this year and expecting him to be good when he didn't play it last year in the NFL because you had Jesse Bates. So I'm attacking that free agency. I'm attacking safety. I'm pairing somebody with Jordan Battle, and I'm saying, listen, Dax Hill, if you're Mike Hilton's backup or rotating with Mike Hilton, that's your job. That's just where I'm at, Dusty. I want to win a fucking Super Bowl. I don't want to fucking – sorry. Jesus.
No, that's what I said. That's why I said on Twitter was this might hurt some feelings and stuff, but I don't think Yoshi's that dude that we're thinking in 2 years. That's why I think in the draft
I like him. Good 6th-round pick. It doesn't mean I want to count on him to fill the role of T. Higgins.
And then you can't the shoe's on the other foot too. You can't be a fan and sit here and root for these guys. And then, I mean, you can sit there and root for them, but you can't get mad at the team and the organization when they don't do anything to improve it. But you're also wanting this person to get more reps and stuff. So it's kind of a double-edged sword where, yes, you want to see this guy get the reps, but this season was a little different. We knew we wasn't making it to the playoffs in the last game against the Browns.
Well, we didn't know that. And like DJ Turner, because I see Dustin posted up something about DJ Turner. Like, he had to play because Cheetah was hurt. Some of it was just injuries too. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, man. Once again,
Um,
I am buzzed. I am sorry. I'm just hyped about my Bengals, but I think we got a lot of moves we need to make.
yeah, I think so too. I think we need to be really aggressive. But back to the wide receiver point that I'm making is you if this guy is a wide receiver 4, you can't expect him to play wide receiver 2. I think the majority of fans want T to stick around, in which I do. I'm on the T
At the
board.
right money for me.
Yeah, it's I'm talking about this year. I'm talking about tagging in
See,
him.
I think the tags the word. Continue, and then let me talk about that, please.
Okay, so I think tagging T, but I think we need to make sure to draft somebody that we think could be replaceable. There's some guys. I got Troy Franklin. If he was
I
to
like
fall,
Troy Franklin. I like Troy Franklin.
the only thing is his size. He's like 180 pounds. He's 6'2", so he's got good height, but he's like 180
Length, good length. He doesn't have good mass.
Yes. Yeah, his size is hopefully he's got the frame to fill out a little bit. Where he can get in that training program. He won't lose a lot of speed, but getting 10 pounds, get a solid 10 pounds on the guy.
Yes.
And that would be great. I don't know if you've watched anything of Taj Washington from USC, but I like Taj Washington. He's a guy that's probably more of a middle round pick. But he's got some speed, some explosiveness. He's elusive. He's a little difficult to tackle. I think pairing a guy like that with Jamar could make this team explosive like it was in 2021.
I haven't watched enough of him, or much of him, but he was at the Shrine Bowl. Just what I read on him from that was he's a little smaller, but the guy I really like, he may be more Boyd replacement than Higgins. He may be more slot projection for the NFL. Brendan Rice may be more about Jerry Rice's son, who's at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah. And he's like a 3rd round projected guy, right?
Yeah, that's where I have him.
Yeah, he's more.
But I like Malik Washington, who's only like 5'8". I don't know if you've watched him at all from Virginia.
I've not watched him. I've watched a handful of dudes that.
Write that name down for me.
Say his name again.
Malik Washington. He transferred from Northwestern to Virginia and put up like 1,400 yards this year. He's like 5'8", but he plays bigger. But I'm talking about replacing Boyd here, not replacing Higgins. But that's a guy that I'm like, if he's there in the 3rd or 4th, man, I don't give a shit. He was, from all reports at the Shrine Bowl, which I already had him here from watching his tape. But at the Shrine Bowl, they said he was like the best player at the Shrine Bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm trying to think of. Have you seen Corey Crooms?
No.
From Minnesota. He's more of a late round guy. But I did watch some film on him, and I liked. He kind of stood out a little bit. I liked him. But I think there's talent there. That we can where we can replace some of them, but it can't be. I don't think we can try to downgrade too much when you lose T and Boyd. Like, our teams build around that, unless, like Jeremy Quinn said up here, a tight end, please. So the tight end class is not what the tight end class was last year, which was pretty crazy. And tight ends take a little bit more time to develop. Normally take a little bit of time to develop. So there's a handful of guys that I do like, but I still I don't even know if Brock Bowers will be there. And if he is, I don't know if I love that pick. How would you feel about Brock Bowers?
I like the player. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't. Yeah. Tight end is very tough to project. I think he's a good player. I think he's well worth it. I think he's off the board, honestly.
Yeah.
And I like Jatavion Sanders, not much worse than him. So from Texas, if he was there in the second, if I'm talking about spending a first or spending a second, I'd love to spend the second on Sanders. Honestly, more than I would Bowers in the first. But I do love Bowers. It's not a knock on Bowers. It's just tight end's one of those tough ones to take in the first round. It's kind of like safety. There's certain positions that you just don't feel like you get your values worth most of the time.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's a couple guys kind of in the mid rounds. There's Jaheim Bell. I like Jaheim Bell. He had a good some good reps there at the Senior Bowl.
He's smaller. He's a little
he is.
smaller.
I think he's 6'2". I think he's about 6'2". But if you watch some of his film, he makes some good tough catches.
I like him. I like him on film. I just worry about the size and things like that. He would be a size outlier for the NFL.
Yeah.
And guys at his size haven't panned out. So it's like, and I don't love that because that was last year. And Joe Goodberry, love him. He does great stuff. But that was one of the things about DeJuan Jones that he's a size outlier. And we went back and forth a little bit on Twitter. And I'm like, yeah, but he's good. He hasn't given up any sacks. He's damn good. And he ended up going in the fourth round. Like, I was talking second round, but Bengals could have got him in the third round.
And then Ben Sinnott.
Yeah, from Kansas State. Yeah, he's my tight end 3. He's behind Bowers and Sanders, but I still have him as like a third round guy. But I like him.
Yeah,
talented dude.
I like him. I mean, Jared Wiley. He's about the complete opposite. He's a much taller, bigger prospect than Jaheim Bell. But I still have Jaheim Bell. Oh, just from what I've seen, I have him slightly higher.
I've got Wiley higher, but it like you said, I could go back and forth on those guys.
Yeah, and I don't know, that size would be a red zone threat. But yeah, tight end.
He's a better blocker too. Like he's been a better blocker.
Do you? I would prefer getting another free agent tight end, but a dude that we put on, maybe a 2-year deal and draft the tight end that we want for the future, but make sure we have that guy. And which say what you want about Drew Sample. I know you're not the biggest fan of him.
No. I thought he had a great season. Dude, that's the thing. Like, he was a free agent this year, and we got him for a 1-year cheap deal. So he was a great free agent signing. When you talk about Drew Sample as the second round pick, that when you could have had AJ Brown or somebody, I hated that. There's a big difference. You know what I mean? And Drew Sample is very good at what he does. He's a good solid piece, good block, excellent blocker that you can move around, put him in the backfield to block. He had to basically fill P. Ryan's role as a blocker a lot of this season.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate Drew. Like, I know I say that sometimes and people think I'm joking because of how much hate I had on the guy, but the hate I had on the guy was the second round value. So, what he's done as and if we brought him back on a 1-year, $2-3 million deal, it's 2 years, $6 million, whatever.
Mm-hmm. I'm
perfectly fine with that. He's a good piece. He's just not. He's not a second round. He never was a second round talent.
No. He was a big reach. I mean, he was drafted about 2 rounds too early for me. But I do like Tanner Hudson and what he's shown. I would love to see T. Huddy get a little deal going. Maybe because he'll be 30, I think, going into the season.
I think he's like 28, so he's still a little under the 30 for the Bengals, which is good because you know how they are about that, which they shouldn't be too much about that if the price is right.
Okay. I was thinking he was 29 going into 30, but maybe I was a year off.
I'll look it up just to double check because
he's still a guy. I think
he might be because he could be. Like, that's the thing. And that for the Bengals, it makes a big difference.
Yeah, given the opportunity, he performed. He played well. I would like to see both those guys come back. Now, I'm not saying give them some sort of, big deal or nothing, but give them.
You're right. He's 29.
Yeah.
So he will be turning 30 in November. So it would it's probably a 1-year deal then.
Yeah. Give him. It's still give him a year deal and draft our guy, but there's Dalton Schultz. I don't see Dalton Schultz leaving Texas. I think he might stay there. I just build around the quarterback and what they like to do. So they're explosive teams, and I think he might stay there. But if he's available, he'd definitely be a guy I'd like to bring in. How do you know how old he is? He's like 27, maybe.
I could look it up. That sounds right. I mean, and that's the thing. Like, man, if you could have told me, I thought he was going to be one of the higher paid guys last year on the tight end market. And 1 year, $8 million. When that deal came in, it's like,
Yeah,
the Bengals 100% should have done that for that price.
yeah,
Especially compared to Irv Smith. So I'm looking at these guys like he's 6'5", 244. Just trying to get profile. Yeah, he's 27 July, so he'll be 28 through the season.
okay, yeah. So he's a dude. I know a lot of people talked about him. I don't know what he's going to want, but there's definitely options there. But the Bengals, we need that 2021 kind of splash where we bring in some guys that are quality starters. I'm not saying we have to have some dude that we signed for $20 million. Like, I don't know how much Chris Jones is going to command, but it's probably going to be in the 20 millions. And that's a lot of money for one dude, especially on D-line when you could possibly get some there's some other dudes that you could probably put in there and they could be run stuffing. Maybe you're not going to get the big explosive sacks that we'd like to see. But our run defense was so horrible that we got to do something, especially in the AFC North. We need to stop the run a little better. And you can't expect Trey to have another 17.5 sack season with his sack rate was, or his pressure rate was so much higher than anybody else. So BJ Hill was maybe, I don't know, I had 30 pressures and Trey had 50 or something. Like he had 20 plus more pressures than anybody else on the team. That's it's not going to be successful to have a good pass rush like that.
Yeah, and Trey, I mean, he does get dinged up, but he plays through it because he's a tough son of a bitch. But you need depth in general. Like this team needs depth because you never know who's going to need to be out for 2, 3, 4 weeks, half a season. Yeah, and I thought we really lacked in depth this year, and that's why I'm like, you have to attack both. You have to attack free agency, and then the draft should be just once again adding depth mostly. If these guys are able to start, great. That's good evaluators. That's what you do.
Yeah, I agree. So in our range, a couple guys I have wrote down. Dallas Turner. I always mess this guy's up, but Latu from UCLA.
Latu.
And,
yeah, probably wrong too. It just sounds good.
Yeah, and Jared Versay. So those dudes, I like them. I don't like Chop Robinson. I don't know how you feel about Chop Robinson, but I don't. I don't know if I like. He's
closer to Miles Murphy to where I don't know if he's ready to do a lot in year one. I like the talent. He's at 4. Like you're listing off the guys basically in the order that I have them. And
okay, yeah, that's basically my order right there for like the top 4. And then I have the Oregon kid. I have Washington's Braylon Trice, which
Braylon Trice
could be a guy. I think he's going higher than what he's being projected, a little higher than what I would like him at. But some of the games I've seen, I liked some of the stuff I saw out of him. But yeah, I'm not high on Chop Robinson. But if Jared Versay's there, and Dallas Turner and a lot whatever from UCLA, if those dudes, any of those 3 are there, would they catch your eye at 18? Would you be?
Yeah, I think any of the 3. Latu scares me because of the neck injuries. He was medically retired when he played at Washington, and then UCLA cleared him to play. So that one scares the hell out of me. But talent-wise, I have him behind Turner. He's probably like day one to come in and make an impact talent-wise than what he's done in the last 2 years. Probably even better than Dallas Turner, but I would personally take Dallas Turner ahead of him. And then Jared Verse is just a high motor monster to where and productive. So all three of those guys would definitely pique my interest. If Hendrickson and Hubbard are your starters, then you already need more out of Murphy. And Osai is still on this roster and Cam Sample. I don't want to take a DN in the first round again. That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it. If the talent falls, it falls. And if you hammer free agency, because I would rather have a veteran. We see Baltimore do this all the time, that they bring in these one-year deals for these veterans, and they pan out and produce. Kyle Van Noy was wrecking havoc the last weekend, and he was a guy that's brought in when the season started or during the season, and they do it year after year after year. There's no reason you can't find a one-year guy. I think that would be a better supplement for our team and the youth we have and the questions we have. Bring in a veteran who has produced in the NFL. You can get some snaps out of, but you can also say, hey, your ass is going on the bench if these young guys are, taking the step we're hoping they're taking. But like last year, we didn't have the veteran. We just hoped Zach Carter would take the step. And it didn't happen, but he still played 50% of the snaps almost every single game.
Yeah. Well, if you look at Larry O, Larry O was on a 1-year deal. And when he came in, that was I love that signing. And then
he had produced in the NFL. Von Bell produced in the NFL. Ted Karras produced in the NFL. Kappa produced in the NFL. It doesn't have to be the big Awuzie, Hilton.
Even
that's the free agency I want.
Trey Flowers. He locked out some tight ends for us, and he made some plays. He was not a big name at all at that point. And Eli Apple, everyone was hating on Eli Apple, and he came in and he played way above what we expected him to. So that's what I was getting at with the Chris Jones stuff. You don't have to pay some crazy amount of money for this one piece. Now, could that be the difference maker? Yes, but also you could bring in some of these second, third tier dudes that have potential. And I like that. So that would be what I would prefer.
Yeah, and it's tough because, and that's the thing. Oh, you could have Chris Jones. Yeah, I would love to do that. I'm not saying I wouldn't love to do that. It's just the money. $30 million for one player, or I can go get 7 players that are probably, really good. And once again, it comes down to talent evaluation and your coaching staff being able to put these guys in the right position. And like Nick Scott, they clearly missed on that, and it killed us. Trying to replace the safeties. That killed us. Nick Scott killed that team early on.
What's the dude from he played in Detroit this past year, but there was a lot of talk about him.
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson?
Yeah. And
he was hurt. He was hurt most of the year, came back late, was there early, got hurt in week 2 or 1 or 2. Came back toward the end of the year playoffs. Didn't have a good season per PFF, but it's still what he can be and has done in the NFL. If it's a cheap 1-year deal, sign me up. I'll take all the 1-year deal. I want Sheldon Rankins on the D line. If DJ's not back, is DJ ready day one? Give me Malcolm Roach from the Saints, or give me Grover Stewart, who's a little bit older. I think he's going to be 31, but DJ's going to be 30.
I think they need to get out of that above 30 kind of thing. If they can come in for a year and produce, look at Mike Daniels.
Talent.
Mike Daniels.
Fucking talent. Chris Crocker for how many years?
Yeah. So Chris Crocker in the DB room that. There's players out there. Bring them in and let the best play. Give them give him a year deal. But we got a lot of holes, man. I love the Bengals so much, but I feel like people are getting to almost delusional because I think there's a lot of pieces that we need a lot of holes we're going to have to fill.
I read a Paul Dehner Jr. article on The Athletic, so I felt a little better because it was like with Mike Potts was the main guy talking about Radicevich and Potts, who they head up obviously all things, free agency and draft. But they were saying we have a lot. They said even if we went 16-0 or 9 17-0, 9-8, whatever, we still need a lot of pieces. So
yeah,
at least what they're saying, it sounds like they're aware they need a lot of pieces. So I really do, after reading that, think, and that's why I'm gonna on our show we're gonna do a boatload. We've already done tackles, D tackles. We're gonna do corner, safeties. I want us to add a veteran at all these spots. We're losing veterans at these spots.
Yeah. There is a tight end. I forget his name. He's out of Texas, or not Texas. He's out of Air Force, and he's kind of a hard hitting dude. I don't exactly. I don't want to replace in the draft positions. I think we need veteran presence there. But if we're talking about these 1 year deals, and with the money we're about to spend on Jamar, and Joe's is going to start hitting in the following year, so I think we need to we have to draft well. We can't have a draft that makes us fall back in the next couple years. But also we need people that can produce. So yeah, this year's big, man. I think our window. I think this is our year, and we need to go all for it. And if we want to keep having these really great years, we have to hit. We can't have these these dudes in the second round what the heck's his name? The lineman. What's his name, Dale?
Oh, Jackson Carman.
Jackson Carman. Yeah.
That was a reach. It was a reach. Drew Sample was a reach.
We can't have that. We have to have guys that have talent, guys that are ready. I think really in the first 4 rounds, those guys in those first 4 rounds have got to produce this year.
Yeah, you don't have to be a starter, but you have to produce. You have to be in the rotation. You have to contribute.
100%. Do you care to talk a little bit on a guy that a lot of Bengals like in Johnny Newton, but also Byron Murphy? That maybe compare those two, but I gotta let my doggy.
Yeah, out. I got to when you come back. So
okay, I'll go real quick and.
Who let the dogs out? But yeah, Terzon Newton, Johnny Newton, Illinois. It's been my D tackle one. I've seen him. I've seen the Byron Murphy love for O tackle one, and Newton's fallen in a lot of these mock drafts till the end of the first round, going to teams like the Bills or the Chiefs, and it's like that's my worst nightmare. I think Newton's a great player. I'll just read my notes on him. So for positives, explosive, natural leverage. He's 6'2", 295. So the weight, bit undersized. That's a con. But active hands, shedding blocks, quick first step. The guy does everything really, really well. And he did it at Illinois. It's not like he's surrounded by, Trey Hendrickson and Sam Hubbard and Miles Murphy. He's at Illinois. They name the DNs that they put out this past year. Who is in the draft we're talking about when it comes to that? Nobody. So, arm length, that's going to be a question. He does have some snap timing issues where he's almost over-aggressive. But guess what? I'd rather a player be over-aggressive than the opposite. Byron Murphy, that's the thing. Newton, I saw it multiple years. Murphy is surrounded by talent at Texas, but he's got a great burst off the snap. He played up and down that line. Good leverage as well. A good motor. He's only a 1 year starter, though. Also kind of a small, like he comes in more 6'1" instead of 6'2", him and Newton, which we'll get those official measurements, I imagine, at the combine. But to me, it's Newton 1, him 2. They're the only 2 first-round D tackles. I like them both, but I like Michael Hall and his tape from Ohio State, and people are like, he should have went back to Ohio State. Maybe he should have. But then he went to the Senior Bowl where they were able to have underclassmen, and he balled out. I don't think Michael Hall is too far off from those guys. Braden Fisk from Florida State. I was going to say the
Florida. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him too. He's 6'4", like 295. So he's even leaner. You're talking Newton 6'2", 295. This guy's like 6'4", 295. So that's kind of the thing. But when you watch him, you don't see it. You don't go, his functional strength isn't good enough. It's plenty good enough. And the dude's motor, he has the best motor probably in the draft, Braden Fisk.
Yeah, I like Braden a lot. He's kind of, especially if you can get him where he's projected, which I'm assuming he's going to move up boards. I don't know if he's going to be a 4th round guy, but he's just so fast off the snap. He seems like a very smart, high IQ guy.
I have him as a 2nd round. If the Bengals were able to get him in the 3rd round, now that to me is a slam. Him or Michael Hall in the 3rd round is slam dunks. But if they took them, either of those guys in the 2nd, I would say, well, that's where I actually have them as players.
Yeah. What about McKinley Jackson? He's a guy I had wrote down. Chris Jenkins is somebody that I didn't feel like produced the way I feel like.
No, the profile is there. Let's talk about Chris Jenkins first. Michigan. Okay. The profile was there. He's on Feldman's freak list. Everything about the guy, he's probably going to test. You're going to hear this name because he's going to test out phenomenal at the combine. You put it on tape and you go,
It don't match to me. I mean, I don't know. It
doesn't at all. And that's what I mean. He only stays up there because of the projection of what you think he can be with his athletic profile. Now, he is a good run defender. He's not T'Vondre Sweat and McKinley Jackson, where he's going to plug, more of a nose tackle role, but he's a good run defender. But he needs to show more as a pass rusher, and you're projecting that. That's the big difference, to where you've seen it from the other guys, from Fisk, from Hall, from Newton, from Murphy. You've seen it. You've seen it on tape. You know that they can do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I just think that go do your thing, man. Okay. So everybody in the chat, man, I appreciate you guys. This might be the most people I've had on the show, and I know I haven't gone live for quite a while now. So we're gonna keep working on it, get a little better with it. Life gets busy sometimes, and the way the season kind of ended, just decided to take a little bit of a break. But yeah, I definitely appreciate having everybody in here, having the conversations. If you guys have maybe some sleeper picks in the draft, somebody that might not be getting the love that you think they deserve, go ahead and put their names in the chat and see if I'm familiar with them. I'm sure Dale will be, but they're definitely people I'll look up and do my research on. And then what position do you think is the most important in round 1? I think offensive tackle, just the right tackle side. I think with the depth in the draft, if one of these dudes might fall a little bit, that could be a position to attack. But if Newton's there, I'm on the Newton train. So if any of you guys like Newton, and he's there, let me know about it. Free agency, what are you guys in for tagging T, trading T? What would all the fans in the chat like? I'm just seeing Dale's back. I'm just seeing what people are thinking about T. I think I keep going back to T. Dude, I like T so much that he just seems like such a humble dude that I
like T too. And his favorite player was AJ. There's a lot, and his talent on the field is fantastic. But I just that was my thing. I was like, get back to me. So my thoughts, and I seen Quinn earlier. Jeremy Quinn said tag and trade, and that's where I'm at with it. Like if you're going to tag him, it's $21 million. Now, if you can work an extension, I'm a little better with that because if your cap hit's $15 million, but if you tag him, your cap hit is 21 something million.
Okay,
That's
let's
a
go
lot of
back.
cap. When I want to really like hammer free agency and out all these guys, taking up 21 plus million on the cap, it's going to hamper what I can do. Now if he's 15, there's an extra 6+ million that I can bring in 2 more potential players that are going to help this team. I can work the cap to where I can add 2 players. But if I tag him and I trade him, maybe I can't get a late first for him anymore, but maybe I can get a second. If I can get a second round for him, it's a good wide receiver class. So, I'm not saying they're going to come in day one as T. You're going to have to change your offense, and it's going to depend what you draft. Maybe you draft a Jatavion Sanders in the second, so maybe you're relying on a tight end more than the Bengals typically do. Maybe, Chase Brown, you're just doing the Jake Browning offense to where the running backs are getting a little more love in the pass game and the run game. You got to have a plan. And that's the thing. Bringing back T and hoping he stays healthy for 6 games and paying him 21+ million is not my favorite play. That's my honest opinion. I love the player. I love the person, but that's just not a good plan.
Yeah. I think, I don't know. For me, you don't know what kind of year a player's going to have. Health.
You never know.
For everybody and anybody, you don't know. Any given play, something crazy can happen, and it's very unfortunate. But what T brings, if you have a healthy T and a healthy Jamar, and obviously a healthy Joe Burrow, that's what this team's built around. In my opinion, our team's built around those 3 players.
Well, not a lot of teams are, though. A lot of teams don't have a second receiver that good.
Yeah. So my thing is, I got on to, so I forget who it was on Twitter though, was talking about the tag and trade with T, and they asked what you thought he was worth, and he said I would take, I think, like a second and fourth or second round pick, maybe. I don't think he had anything else with it. I think it was just a second round pick, and I compared him to what AJ Brown got. And I compared their numbers through their first, I think, what was it, like 4 seasons I compared it. And then the guy's argument was, well, you didn't put AJ Brown's stats the following year. It's like, well, T doesn't have that following year to put in there for one.
I would also say for that, and I don't know who you were, but Tannehill versus Burrow, right, though?
What'd you say?
I said Tannehill versus Burrow.
Yeah. Now, I'm not saying T's going to command the same, first and third or whatever it was, but I think T's value is higher than whatever the guy said, a second or third round pick.
It's the injuries, though. I think that hurts T, where he's been injured, and the hamstring stuff bothers him from Clemson.
Yeah. Which we've seen that with the AJ Green hamstring, like the hamstrings and soft muscles, like that is just something that is an all year thing. You bother it, and especially a guy that plays explosive, long gait, sprinting down the field. That, I don't know, it just sticks around and nags and nags and nags. But I still, it would be really hard for me to trade him for a second round.
I understand, because you don't know who you're going to get there in the second round. But there is some, like a Keon Coleman. These are guys that I have in the second round. Some place have them in the first. But if you could give me the Keon Coleman in the second, or even a Adonai Mitchell from Texas who transferred from Georgia, like the big body guys. But even like Ladd McConkey had a great Senior Bowl week. I know he's a slot guy. It's different. Okay, so we're pumping the ball to Ladd McConkey instead of T. And Jamar is Jamar. Like, and that's the thing, is paying 2 guys is really hard at the position. But I get one to keep T, and if it works out for a long-term deal, I'm not opposed to it at all. Hey, you want to do a
So
mock draft? You want to do a mock draft?
yeah, another dude I want to talk about real quick. There's two of them. It was Brian Thomas Jr. and Xavier. I don't know how to say it. Leggett.
Yeah, he had an up and down Senior Bowl. We kind of talked about him on Bengals and Brews, but Brian Thomas from LSU. That's the deep ball, and he surprised me with how good he was, like in the short game, like getting screen passes and this and that. Hey,
what are you doing, Jess?
Hey, Jess.
She's getting snacks.
Hey, look at me. You know I love snacks.
Yeah, me too. She's getting some chips and salsa.
But yeah, I really like Brian Thomas, but I would be so disappointed. Like, I don't know. We'd have to get that first round pick and take Brian Thomas, a 1-to-1 trade, rookie contract versus $20 million, for me to be happy about trading the players. That's the thing. And that's the same argument that you can make that I'm saying with the second round thing. I 100% get it. It's just it's a tough situation. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
And most likely we're all just banging our head off walls because at the end of the day, it is going to be the franchise tag. And it's going to be just like Jesse Bates. He's going to leave after this year for nothing. Maybe a third round comp pick. But at the same point in time, when you're in a Super Bowl window with a quarterback, I'm glad we don't have a third round comp pick for Jesse Bates. I'd rather have Orlando Brown on this roster.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Like, yes, Orlando Brown Bates played his best season, all pro, this and that. But I get it. But once he was gone, he was gone.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're not going to find Orlando Brown in the third round. Like,
the Ravens do, because it's where they took it.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're not going to find a dude that's veteran tested that you know what you're getting. It's difficult. It's a gamble. Like, it's very difficult to find that. Like, you could find Orlando Brown or you could find Zach Carter. That's where I'm at. I would rather take proven
or Jackson Carman in this second. You know what I mean? Like,
yes, that's where I'm at. I'd rather have a proven player than have a guy see a bunch of potential. A Chris Jenkins, ton of potential. He's got everything.
I don't want the Bengals to take him at all.
Yeah, well, that's where I'm getting. I don't. He has the potential. He might produce really well on his pro day or at the combine, but overall, it doesn't match the film. In the hype that he's getting, I mean, he could turn out to be a great pick for somebody. But for me, I don't want that gamble. I want somebody that's ready and is going to play and produce. If that's in the third round and they're on a rotation, like Edgerrin Cooper, whatever, the linebacker from Texas, A&M. I like that guy. If you get somebody like that to fill in, maybe use him as a spy against Lamar or some of the other quarterbacks that we face in the AFC. And he had, I think, 8 sacks last year. Like, he's a dude that I really like that could be a third round.
The 8 sacks were nice, but the overall linebacker play, because like you were super high on him, and when I watched more of him, I was like, because we're usually pretty in sync with a lot of these guys, and that was one that I was just like, I just don't see
Cedric Gray. He's another guy. Cedric Gray at linebacker from North Carolina. He's a dude that's constantly around the ball, making a ton of tackles. It's kind of pick your poison, you know. Like, I feel like with Cooper, we could use him in a variety of ways that would make it that can make it difficult on certain teams. Just kind of like the Trey Flowers. Now you're taking this dude in the third round more than likely. So if you take him in the third and you can bring him in on certain plays, make life difficult and get off on third down, that to me is worth the pick. Now, probably need to do maybe a little deeper dive into him and see where different concerns are. but his athleticism, what he does, I like. I really like Cedric Gray. Other than that, I have Trotter down from Clemson, but most of those dudes are kind of mid-round picks in my eyes. It just depends on where
I
you
don't
get.
have a first-round linebacker
No, I don't. Yeah,
which for the Bengals, I mean, even the guys I like, I don't think they're going to take because as long as they're playing what they play now, if they want to go back to a more traditional type 4-3, but I mean, the way the NFL is, the need for two linebackers typically suffices. Now, I think we got to get better play out of our linebackers, period.
Yeah. There were some problems with them this year. The whole defense as a whole just looked. I don't know if there was too much on the linebackers' plates with getting guys lined up. They're used to having Jesse and Vaughn back there, and they're overthinking everything. They're second guessing where they're at. I don't know if that was the case, which it very well could be. When you have to think and you can't just play, that makes you slow down naturally. So that's my kind of thought. So in the first round, a position that a lot of people maybe aren't looking at might be cornerback, just because we got the tight end needs. We have the people on the Georgia tight end real high on him. We have the defensive tackle with Johnny Newton, and then the obviously offensive tackle at right tackle. There's a lot of really good prospects there. But cornerback, Arnold from Alabama, Cooper from Iowa is a guy that I don't know how to feel about. Like, I don't know how much I like him as a cornerback. He is explosive, and he makes in the return game, he makes explosive plays. But have you watched any film on him?
Yeah, I mean, I've watched all these guys. Big thing with him, he's coming off an injury. I've still got him up there. Like, I got him and Quinion Mitchell, who obviously
Toledo.
Yeah, had a great Senior Bowl week and not coming off injury. But I didn't have Quinion, necessarily as high as him.
Yeah.
I just don't know if Cooper's going to be a better safety or corner in the NFL. Like, he's a damn good hitter. He's got great ball production, ball skills. So I don't know.
Nate Wiggins from Clemson. I kind of got Quinion Mitchell over him.
Well, I'll tell you mine. So when I went into corners, I expected maybe Kool-Aid McKinstry would be number one. He wasn't. I actually liked his Bama teammate more, Terry and Arnold. Mm-hmm. And then I was back and forth on 2 and 3. So it was between Wiggins, who is a lot smaller, but just produces at his smaller, lighter frame than what McKinstry does. But I kept McKinstry at 2. I put Wiggins at 3, Cooper at 4. But, I mean, they're not far off. Like, Cooper is very fun and exciting. Explosive athlete, but I just almost feel like he would be so much better safety. And it's like, I don't want to stereotype the guy. The white team already don't, if we're doing all black versus white team, we don't have any corners.
Yeah, we got one.
But I do think he's a better safety. Like, I think he would be a better safety. So I can't place him over some of these guys, but I still have him as a first-round guy. And you figure out where you want to put him, He's a first-round talent.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. I just don't know. Like you said, there's kind of some unknowns with the guy, but I like Quinion Mitchell in TJ Tampa. TJ Tampa.
I like TJ Tampa. I have him as a second round, but I really like him though.
Yeah, I have.
He's my Cam Taylor Britt, dude. I'm good, and I say that.
The way he hits, like what I have wrote down for him is aggressive. He plays with an attitude, hard hitter. He's got pretty good ball skills.
Yes,
and he sheds blocks in the run game pretty well. So
he might not have the top end traits overall that will keep him from going in the first round. But I love TJ Tampa. If you could say, hey, you can have TJ Tampa in the second round. I'll say, wow, we got Cam Taylor-Britt and TJ Tampa in the second round, and we have 2 All-Pro or Pro Bowl at least. I won't say All-Pro, but Pro Bowl corners. I think TJ Tampa is that guy.
Yeah, I agree. Iceman says, "What's up?" He said he's at a bar by himself. He can't hear anything, so feel free to talk our shit. Yeah,
He's at a bar by himself. Why can't he hear anything? There's no one else there. What a dumb fucking comment.
They just got one person in there singing karaoke super loud. Well, dude, yeah, we can go ahead and do if you want to do the mock draft.
I thought you wanted to do a mock draft. That's what I was like, man, I wanted to do a mock draft on my show. I did a 2-hour show, didn't have time.
I think I hit on pretty much everyone I wanted to. If you haven't looked up a whole lot of Taj Washington, go ahead and look him up at some point.
I need to watch him, but listen, I'm capped at 230 players. I said this on the show earlier. Santori wanted to cap our draft guide at 200, and I said, I'm sorry, buddy. We're going to have to cap it at 230. So now when I add names, I have to take off names, and I'm taking them from other positions. It's very tough for me. So,
yeah. Well, you don't have to add him to it. I think he's going to be a guy that's going to be.
But that's the thing. When I watch a guy, I'm like, oh, now I got to try to slot him in. And,
I think he's
definitely. If I really like it, but I will, 100%.
I think he's going to be a dude. He'll be a 4th, 5th round pick. I truly think. I think he's going to test really well. I think he'll be around round 4, round 5, and I could be a little high on him, but definitely think he has 4th round talent. But yeah,
oh my God, he's talking about an NHL team again. This is what he did on Bengals&Brews. Cincinnati might get an NHL team.
Ice man, what are you doing, bro? All right, let's do this mock draft, buddy.
All right, you got to pop it up, and then I'll go through
there
it.
There you go.
So I'll start the draft. Players are going to fly off the board. We'll see the best available. You tell me positions you want to check out. We'll check them out. Oh, I seen Newton go. I seen your boy Cooper go. 1 pick before.
Dude, Cooper. I wouldn't say Cooper's my boy. Now, Fuega, that's my dude. That's my draft.
I was going to say, I can go through. This is who's available. Dallas Turner. So edge 1, corner 1. And even though he's not offensive tackle 1, he is a top 10 player in Fuaga for me. He's and Newton's gone.
So I feel like
this is a good problem to have.
I really think Fuaga is going to be gone, and I think,
but he's not here. Okay, you don't know what's going to happen in the draft, and he's not gone.
If he's there, that's who I'm taking. I'm taking him as my right tackle. But Dallas Turner would be hard for me to pass up, and Arnold. That could be a trade back scenario for me, possibly.
I 100% agree with that. Like, it would be hard for me to pass on either of those 2 talents. But damn. Yeah. So, wow. Bo Nix and Michael Penix are available. It's almost like they didn't have great Senior Bowl weeks.
Yeah.
I'm tired of doing these mock drafts where Tavondre Sweat is now also available, and I have to take these 2 every fucking time.
I know. That's the problem with me is, like, in Kitchen, the safety is a solid safety.
TJ Tampa.
Yeah, TJ Tampa, that's my guy. Like when we were talking before and you said Cooper, no, Tampa, I don't know if I want it. Here, let's look at defensive tackle.
Well, it's
D-line. So Sweat's there, but
I think we can get it in the 3rd. I think we can get Hall or Jackson on this mock in the 3rd.
And I think I'm higher on Jackson than a lot of people. I like Jackson.
No, I do. Parker loves him. Parker Blake loves him. And I'm not against it. We already got our right tackle.
I don't want tight end.
I love Sanders. I love Sanders. Like, I would not be mad if that was the actual pick. Tez Walker had a bad week. Otherwise, he'd be in the conversation. All the linebackers are there. I don't want to take one because they're not going to start. Corner, TJ Tampa could start on this team. It's Tavondre Sweat or TJ Tampa.
See, this is where it comes down to being so difficult with the. So, do you remember the dude a few years back? I can't remember his name, but he was real big. He was strong. He was a power lifter. And I think we took him in the 4th round, and I was high on him. And he did not play well. I can't remember where he played at in college. Oh, somebody in the comments will probably remember his name, but I don't know. Do you know who I'm talking about? We took him in the 4th round. He was a defensive tackle, super big dude. He had state powerlifting.
Oh, he actually has been good for the Bears from Baylor, right?
Yeah, Baylor. Yep.
I
can't remember his name
now. I love that pick though. He was
I loved it.
potential 1st round pick, and he just signed a 2-year extension in November. I looked that up this week, so he has actually started to pan out.
Let's go with Tampa in Billings. Andrew Billings, that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Matt had it here. Matt and David.
Thank you, Matt.
Matt and David was on it. Andrew Billings. Yeah, let's go with the dude Tampa.
I just want to mix it up. I pick Sweat every time. And listen, I'm not going to be mad about Sweat, but if you could tell, maybe McKinley Jackson's there in the 3rd, and I think this will be
I think Hall could be there. I think
we just talked up Tampa so much about how him and Cam Taylor-Britt could be studs.
Yeah.
That there's no way that I think we should pass on him in this.
Yeah,
oh my God. Sanders is there. Trotter's there. Newman is my number 1 safety.
Scroll down. Can you scroll down?
I'm just upset already. I don't want to. I love Bullock too as safety. Michael Hall Jr.
Bullock didn't have the injury that.
All right, I'm going to go to D-line because
I was saying Hall.
McKinley Jackson went, so our run stopper's gone, but Michael Hall's there for the pass rush.
I don't know if I like Braden more. That's a big gap. I didn't realize that was that big of a gap.
Well, on here, dude, trust me, this is going to change. You'll see this change a million times. I trust my rankings, and I have Fisk and Hall back to back.
They're
very close. But Hall is a hell of a lot younger. Fisk is going to be 25, and Hall is like 21.
I'm cool with going with Hall if you are, but I like Braden. I like Braden a lot. But if
I do too, I'm not. It's no hate on him, but Hall being here, and listen, in real life, I don't think he's here. I don't think he's at pick 80.
Yeah, I think more realistically, it's going to be Braden Fisk there, but
wide receivers like Roman Wilson had a great week. Brendan Rice, Jerry Rice's son. This is the range where it's just Sanders.
No way.
Sanders at tight end makes me sick. I don't think he'll be there. No. I would love Sanders. I'm just tired. I'm tired of taking Fuaga, Sweat, and Sanders because this draft lets me do it.
Yeah,
because that's a cheat code. It's a cheat.
I don't like if it's not realistic. I don't like it.
And I think Fuaga is barely realistic, but there's a chance. If at Michael Hall, though, man, I'm locking it in.
Yeah,
and they can put whatever.
I thought you already picked him. I thought you already took him. I was looking at my phone.
And they can lock it in all they want.
Now let's look at center. Let's see if one of them top centers, those top 2 centers, are there.
Oh, David Gabbard's in here. That's who else said Billings. Sorry, I'm not there yet. I'm just.
Oh, Braden Allen's there, or Brandon Allen, or whatever the heck his name is.
Brendan Rice, my guy Malik. Pooney had a great week too, and he played some center.
Yeah, he did.
He played tackle at Kansas. I have him as a guard. I'm just curious to see corners. Yeah, Cam Hart had a good week, so I wouldn't hate if we were able to get. And there's your guy Bell at tight end, and Theo Johnson, who I have them.
Look at running back.
Yeah, I like Irving, Allen, and Shipley. And
I like Shipley. Dude, I like Shipley. A few months ago, I put some stuff about him. I know he has fumble issues, Braylon Allen, I feel like, is a crazy 1-2 punch. Like after Mix is
Yeah,
gone, like
yeah.
Braylon Allen would be because he's like 6'2". Like he's a big. I like Braylon Allen a lot.
Man, I look back at like Tyler Davis would be more of a run stuffer, but man, my guy Dwayne Carter's still there. I know Wingo, but Wingo is not that guy. I'm sorry, he's not rated that high in my opinion. Yeah, the running backs look good here,
Yeah, I'm
honestly,
the
and the
Oregon
tight
kid.
the tight ends don't look bad, but the way this board is currently set, this is cheating. But there's
Yeah,
your guys, Peyton Wilson, man, criminally
oh my
underrated.
boy, Cedric Gray's there.
Yeah, I know, but Cedric
Uh,
Wilson I have a lot higher. But the shoulder issues. All right,
um,
so what do you
oh,
think
wide
here?
receiver. They got Rice. Rice is still there, and I like.
I like him too, but
I think
give
I
me the
think
1-2
Braylon
punch.
Allen.
Yeah, give me the 1-2
Braylon
punch at
Allen's
running
my
back.
pick.
Yeah, I'm agreeing because if Mixon is here this year, it's this year.
This might be the best top 4 rounds, like just being realistic, that I've done. Uh, the Kansas kid's still there.
Oh my god! And that's the
I would.
thing, because left guard. If you're like, well, old boy's taking a step back. Boom, Teddy K gets dinged up. Boom, the way he did at the Senior Bowl. Oh God, I love Ray Davis at running back, but we just took one. But
I do like Ray, dude. Ray Davis
I
is
love Ray
he's pretty.
Davis.
He's not how tall. He's not that big. He's maybe 5'10".
Oh, there's my slot receiver, Malik Washington. That's the guy. That's the one guy I'm telling you to go watch
Yeah,
when this
see at
show's
this
over.
point.
But
Go to wide receiver again.
there's my guy Trevin Wallace, but we can get him around later because this mock draft is fucked up.
Scroll down a little. Well, I guess wide receiver. Jesus, all the way to 209. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Malik Washington stands out like a sore thumb at wide receiver, but listen, you haven't even watched him. We're not taking him here. Jaheim Bell's still available, by the way, and Theo Johnson.
Yeah. I like Dell, and I like Pune. How are you say it? Pune.
I think. I mean, it's a suggestion. I say we do it in this mock.
I just like him because his senior week, and Ray Davis. I watched.
Well, he played tackle. He played left tackle at Kansas. Projected to be a guard, but then he's getting center. So you're talking 5 position versatility potentially in a pinch.
You know who that is?
That's
Dave Lapham.
Uh-huh. Dave Lapham told us to take Pooney. I'm taking him.
Yeah, it's straight from what old Dave Lapham would want. Ah, my boy went. Dude, I wouldn't be opposed to taking 2 running backs. If Davis was there still, I would have not had a problem taking Davis.
So you're saying you're mixing. Oh my God. Malik Washington is still. I don't care. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
you're going to watch him later.
Yeah, I'll watch him and get excited.
I mean, he's 5'8", but oh my, he doesn't play like it. Number one, but he's just that damn good. He's
if
that
you have that
damn
speed. No. Oh, that's Troy. Or no, never mind. That's not who I thought it was. I thought it was.
It's a punter. We might need that. A lot of people would love that pick.
Yeah,
so
I was
D-line. I'm not seeing it. Linebacker.
Go to safety.
It's my guy right there, Trevin Wallace. I'm not gonna lie. Safety is thinned out. I don't love anything at safety.
Yeah, the guy from the Air Force, Troy, he's not there, and that's who I was looking at.
Oh, he's probably there. He's just a little farther down.
Is he? You think I don't think he's that far down. We're in the 5th or 6th.
There he is.
Trey Taylor, that's his name. Geez, he's way down there. All right.
I haven't watched him yet. I can't give a full opinion on him. Like, I'm not going to hate on it. I know he's farther down here. It doesn't mean you might be ahead. You might be ahead of everyone else, brother.
Which checkout? You want to check out Edge?
Yeah.
There's a guy.
I love Brennan Jackson. I am so much higher on Brennan Jackson than. He's not explosive. He's good at everything.
There was a dude I was looking at the other day, and I forget his name. What the heck is his
David
name?
Gabbert said Adeniji played tackle at Kansas. Adeniji started in the Super Bowl. Just say it.
Yeah.
But Adeniji was projected to stay at tackle. Adeniji never got reps at guard and
Oh,
center in the Senior Bowl.
Gabriel Murphy. He's from UCLA.
Oh
He's
yeah,
an edge.
he has a twin brother,
Does he?
but Gabriel's long gone. His
Is
brother
he?
Grayson might still be available. He's not
Oh,
either. They're both gone.
no. I figured he'd be around like 6th round.
I have him as the third, early fourth.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's damn good, honestly, and he balled out at the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah, I know he was solid, but I thought he was around like kind of 5th, 6th round dude.
All right, so what I really like, just this is me personally, love Brennan Jackson. I think he's underrated.
I have not watched him, but
This is the range where Javon Baker makes a lot of sense. A wide receiver.
Edge and receiver. I'm good with edge or receiver.
Trevin Wallace. Dude, I have Trevin Wallace as a 2nd to 3rd round pick.
Yeah, Trevin Wallace he's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, he's underrated. He's not all over the place. He is fucking amazing. And he was at the Senior Bowl, and he did well in coverage. He's 6'2", 240. He flies all over the field.
No, I mean he's all over the place. Like, not as a compliment. Like, he seemed like a dude that was when I watched him, he seemed like he was all over the field. I guess.
Okay. I thought you meant like projection wise, he has been like criminally underrated.
No, I meant he was. He kind of reminded me of the Duke kid that I was talking about.
Well, he reminded me of Ivan. He reminded me of Ivan Pace, who had a 3rd round grade on.
Yeah, I'm cool with taking him.
I'm taking him. I'm sorry. This draft is stacked. Like
now we're getting to a point where I don't recognize some of these guys. That was about where I was caught off. Other than the safety that I was talking about, who's way deep down here.
God, people would hate us if we took 2 receivers, but Baker is still there.
Drake's there. Baker. What's can you click on the draft profile of Baker?
No, I don't think they have this here.
What's the run out of Baker? Like, what's his size, and is he a slot dude or is he outside?
He's outside, but he doesn't have the explosiveness that I love. That's why I still have him as 5th, 6th round guy. But shit, that's where we're at, right? 6th, 7th round.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are higher on him. I'm just going to get him.
What about the Michigan O lineman? I've heard a lot of hype around him.
Well, we already have 2. We have a tackle and we have Pooney as our interior guy. I can't see the Bengals taking 3. But I have Baker. I have good hands, catch radius, solid route runner, well-built frame, productive. He had 1,100 yards this year at UCF. Cons, I don't know if he has the biggest top-end speed and then creating separation.
Okay. We can go with Baker. I'm all for bringing in some talent.
The safety class is not good. Your guy's still there. If you're pounding the table for your guy, we're in the 7th round. I haven't watched him.
Just what I saw of him, but he seemed. What do I have wrote down? He was a hard hitter. He played pretty physical. He was just a late round dude. It was pretty bland stuff that I put for him, so it wasn't. He was a late round guy.
We'll cheat and take him next.
Yeah. That he's a late round, like 7th round dude. Just somebody that was around there that I was looking at that I liked.
Fabian Lovett's interesting. Like, I'd be interested in him, but you don't take Baker, double up at receiver.
Yeah, give me Baker.
All right, now we'll take your safety and we'll end this because we've gone long, just like the other show. I'm gonna literally get murdered because 7 o'clock. Like, hey, I'm doing a show after work.
It's
right,
a
boom.
Friday, bro.
I know.
Dude, this draft, I'm surprised we got a B plus on Tampa. I'm high on him. Like,
Yeah, he's criminally underrated. Not at the Senior Bowl, so he's not going to get that bump. Michael Hall, I guarantee, gets a bump to where you cannot take him in the third. I guarantee
yeah.
it. Like
And
Pooney,
the
there's no
Tampa,
way you're going to get Pooney in the fifth. He's going to get a bump.
yeah, he had a good Senior Bowl from everything that I heard and saw.
It's just a damn good draft, man. I'm not going to
Yeah,
lie.
if this was realistic, if this happened, like there's always people that do fall. So I could see maybe a dude like Cooney dropping just because there's always just like Andrew Billings dropping. Um, there's people that fall.
Yeah,
I
because
would
people go, their stock goes like, and everybody has different needs too. Like,
go up to. Have you watched any of Leonard Taylor
yeah, I didn't
from
like him.
Miami?
Like, I mean,
Didn't like him.
he was. Well, I'm not going to say I didn't like him at all because I don't like to say that, but I just thought the effort wasn't there, and maybe it's part they try to play him almost as a nose tackle at his. He's undersized the way it is. I just didn't see it with him. It's like I
Yeah.
didn't see the effort. I didn't see the production. I
So
didn't like
let's
him.
play.
I put him as third round, and coming into this, he was like first round. Coming into this season, he was first round.
Let's play a little scenario where Fuega's not there, but that what's that? There's that tackle that a lot of people have projected. He's got kind of a weird name too in the second round. Why don't I have him written down?
Matt said best draft ever. You're right, Matt. You're right.
It's solid.
All the Bengals need to do is get me fucking drunk, and I will pick the best players ever.
Dude, that's so Cedric Van Pran. Say Tampa's not there, or not Tampa. We took Hall in the third. Hall's not there. Would you be opposed to taking Cedric Van Pan, center out of Georgia?
No, tons of experience. He was one of the
No
guys.
staff.
He was my center one, Dusty, coming into this season. He should have went out last year. I think he would have got drafted higher. I watched his tape this season, and I was underwhelmed. Like, and he's still center 3, but that's not saying a lot. There's usually like 8 centers that get drafted the entire draft. So statistically, like I've literally went through and I have the averages of how many get drafted per position, and there's like 8 to 9 centers over the last 10 years.
Yeah. What about Cooper Beebe?
I like him. Very good guard. He's probably a right guard, so I don't see the Bengals being interested.
Yeah,
But
with
if
Kappa.
we needed a right guard, I'd love to fucking have him. Yeah, because Kappa's here not just this season, but next. We have him 2 more years.
Yeah, with TJ Tampa,
But
man,
I like him.
I'm high. I'm high on that dude. Like I said, when I read off my notes I had on him, he was one of the guys that I really kind of one of the few that I kind of dove into. And I like the guy from
it's my guy. You always have your my guys. It doesn't mean they're the top of the cornerback class. Like for me, he's like cornerback. I don't know off the top of my head, like 7,
5, 6,
7. He's cornerback 7 or 8, but that's early second round grade. Like he's good. He's really, really good.
Yeah, I agree. I do. I like him a lot. But what if
overrated?
Yeah, I was going to get to that, David. My bad, bro. But yeah, we talked about him earlier. I don't know if you're in here. We both were kind of on board that the film doesn't match the hype. So I don't know how. Yeah, I'm just kind of out on him. I don't want him.
If the Bengals took him in the second, that would almost be like, I know this is really like, but I'm going to put it in perspective. It would be my Jackson Carman.
Yeah.
And,
Yep.
and the thing is, I still have him as a second round player. I had Carmen as a third. So I guess I wouldn't be that low on him. But I don't like, I would rather the Bengals take Carter, or there's other guys that they could take there.
Dar said he's heading out. We'll see you, Darth. Thanks for tuning in, buddy.
Love you, buddy. Appreciate you.
But would you take so in the second round if TJ Tampa's there, Troy Franklin's there, and McConkey's there? Who would your pick be? Because I'm probably going with
This
Lad. I think TJ Tampa. I think there's a good chance he's there. I think Lad McConkey put up a good showing at the Senior Bowl, so his stock I'm going to say is rising. Troy Franklin.
But for the Bengals, are
is
you
a
asking
guy-
me for the Bengals and what I think they'll do? Because I have different answers for all of that.
Well, we can go into both what the Bengals are going to do, what we think they would do. If those three players are on the board, what do you think the Bengals would do?
What
But
I
I
think
think-
the Bengals should do, if Troy Franklin's on the board, what I think the Bengals should do is they've already tagged T. I would trade him.
Yeah,
If Franklin is there in the second, because I have him as a late first round to early second round guy. If he's there at pick 18 or whatever it is of the second round, I'm taking Troy Franklin and I'm trading T for another second round pick and also getting TJ Tampa.
yeah. Now that would be if I could do that, I would still if I traded T for a second, I would still want a third or fourth, or possibly a player. I just don't think.
Now, if the
T-
Bengals are keeping T, he's tagged, and they are saying we're not trading, then who I take there is probably McConkey.
I'd still take
honestly.
Troy Franklin. I'd still take Troy Franklin.
Maybe
I think
for the future, and I wouldn't be
Yeah.
mad at that. Like I'm gonna say,
Well,
I
yeah, I
wouldn't be
think
mad
so.
at that. But for this one season, knowing that Tyler Boyd probably had left, I
Yep.
would take McConkey and say, damn, my three receivers again now are T, Chase, and McConkey with Burrow dishing the ball out. I feel good about that.
So you're just wanting McConkey just because you think he can play slot.
100%. 100% as a slot only. We're keeping T. But if you're making me choose player-wise, I have Franklin above McConkey all day, every day.
I think I'd still because I feel like with how versatile Jamar is, I feel like we could put Jamar in the slot. I'm not saying all the
that's fair. No, listen, I don't hate that. I'm still okay with that too. And I love TJ Tampa, but he would be the third probably of those three, I guess. But TJ Tampa and McConkey would be very close for me. That would be a very tough. Because what are you doing with DJ Turner if you take Tampa? What are you doing with him?
Probably.
My guess is the Bengals have him. The Bengals have him highly rated. They started him all season.
Yeah. If I take Tampa, he's my CB. He's my.
I agree. I think he's I have him as a way better player. I shouldn't say way better. I had Juan Drago as a late second round guy, and we took him in the late second round. Good pick, good solid pick. I have TJ Tampa as an early second round guy, potentially late first. I think he's a better player. But
without
just knowing the Bengals aren't going to give up on him, though, is my thing.
Yeah. Which I don't want them to, but quarterbacks go down a lot. Like you see it all the time. So when you have
I'd rather have the depth. I agree.
I'd rather have the depth. But the offense is defense wins championships, but offense is if you have Fuega there and you have Franklin, and then you come back with a Michael Hall. And then you get the running back, and then you come with a solid interior O-line, like for some depth. Like, dude, that to me, that would be my ideal draft. I would love if there was some way we could get another second round pick and get Tampa and get Hall. And I mean, it's not going to happen probably unless we trade T. But man, that'd be nasty. That'd be some nasty business. And that's not even talking free agency. That's just within this draft.
Hypotheticals are fun. That's all we can do, right? And then once free agency happens, we'll have a better idea what we think they should do. I hope they hammer free agency and make this a lot easier on us.
Yeah.
The worst thing, I think, because some people are like, just let T walk, blah, 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 for the money wise. And it's like, hell no. He's too talented of a player. That's like my last option.
Yeah. That's worst case scenario is letting T walk. Like, you might get a third round comp pick next year for him.
Yeah, I put paying the $21 million for one season of T before I let him walk. Same thing with Jesse Bates. Like, I was like, hell no, you're going to tag him and he's going to play. But I wanted an extension before that. Same thing. I said it all last summer. This is when we need to work an extension with T, where it's going to be another Bates situation. When it didn't, I said, when the year starts, I'll talk about it more. And that's all I'm saying is.
Yeah. I don't know. This draft's got me pumped. I'm glad that you kind of validated me because I haven't heard anybody talk about TJ Tampa. Literally, this is kind of the first time I've vocalized about him. But when we were going through the CBs, I said that I had him above Nate Wiggins, which is like a lot of people's probably. I don't know. I know if you look him up, Wiggins is probably higher than Tampa.
Yeah, he is.
Quinyon Mitchell is.
But player like who do I feel more comfortable? I know is going to be good in the NFL.
Yeah,
I feel more comfortable with TJ Tampa than Nate Wiggins. And it's like, well, why don't you rate him higher? It's because like the traits, like the draft is a projection. Like, so I'd be lying if I said the projection for Nate Wiggins is like he's a lockdown corner potentially.
Yeah.
Like like his ceiling is lockdown. Like, he's not Sauce Gardner, but I'm saying he's in that range of he could have the potential to be a lockdown corner of that type. Where I think TJ Tampa, yes. And that's why he's higher. Like,
right.
I mean, that's just why. Like, and
yeah,
because I love TJ Tampa. I feel very confident, like I did with Cam Taylor-Britt.
Yeah,
everything about this guy is going to be a good player. It's the way I feel about Dwayne Carter. Why don't you have Dwayne Carter as defensive tackle?
I like Dwayne Carter.
One.
I like Dwayne Carter.
He's a 3-year captain. He's so fucking good.
You know Lil Wayne?
Yeah.
Lil Weezy, Dwayne. The Carter series, baby.
Oh, I know.
All the no ceilings. Let this guy come out and just pump some no ceilings, and I'm gonna lose my mind.
All right, buddy.
But
I better get off here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate it, buddy. This was a great draft. Might be slightly. We'll see how it turns out. I'll save this and. We'll come back to it. This was the first one I've done on the show since pretty much the Bengals season's been done. So it'll be fun to go back and compare.
I love talking draft. I love hanging out with you, buddy. So, you want to talk more draft and free agency, whatever, throughout the offseason. I'm game for it. I appreciate you. I love everything you do. You're my dude. I appreciate people that tuned into this. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for having me on, brother.
I appreciate it. All right, there goes Dale. All right, everyone. I appreciate all the live viewers, man. This is probably the most we've had. Definitely appreciate the interaction. I'm gonna start doing some more shows and doing a little better, being more consistent. Start getting Chris and Tony back into action. So, yeah, we appreciate it. Looking forward to the season, and I'm excited. So, if you guys want, make sure to comment, subscribe to us, follow us on Bengals Army on Twitter, and yeah, we'll pump out some more stuff and give some people to look up to. Like I know we talked about a good bit of guys in the draft, but give us some more options to look up, because there's a ton of players, just like DJ Tampa, somebody that hasn't got a lot of talk, at least a lot of talk that I've heard about, and somebody I'm high on. So I'm sure you guys have some mid-round dudes that you think might go. So let us know about it, and Hoo Day. Thanks.